Welcome back to Cool Times Podcast. We talk all things cool about the cold storage construction industry. Joining me is my lovely host and wife, business partner, all the things, Miss Jenna. I am also your host, Vince Free. And welcome to 2025, another brand new podcast for our new kickoff season.
We are in studio.
We are in studio. I want to give a quick shout out to Rytech High Performance Doors for another continued sponsorship and support. Our boy Chase Deaton.
This episode is brought to you by Rytech High Performance Doors.
Rytech doors provide high-speed performance plus high-tech safety features.
They're customized to offer outstanding operation and energy efficiency for cooler, cold storage, and many other commercial applications.
Rytech. Quality, performance, reliability. Why settle for less?
Big shout out to them. For those who have been listening to us, we appreciate you. You guys can listen to our work on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And enough of all the intro stuff, dude. Let's get into our very special guest, our boy, Mr. Steve Wilson, account executive at Slate River Systems, in studio today, man.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome, my guy.
Thank you for joining us in studio.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So why don't we just keep it kind of chill, man? Tell us all about SRSI and what you do, man.
Sure. So SRSI, we're a full service integrator. We do everything from engineering design to implementation to post-project support.
Okay.
And everything in between inside the four walls of a distribution center, of a cold storage facility, manufacturing facility, you name it, we do it.
Awesome. And how long have you been with SRSI?
I've been here going on 5 years.
Wow.
I started in July of 2020.
There you go. Nice, dude.
Nice.
No,
No, please.
This is what we do. This is what we do all the time. We just banter.
Yeah.
That's great. Go ahead.
No, babe. I insist.
Well, I was just going to ask you to tell us a little bit about how SRSI Slate River is working within the cold space right now. Really, what is your focal point for the cold storage market, construction, all that? Like, what are you honing in on right now? What's your if you're going to hunt with a rifle and not a shotgun, what are you aiming at?
So right now, I think there's a big push in cold storage with ASRS, right? Yes. I mean, it's trying to utilize automation and technology to offset the labor challenges that a lot of the industry, actually all industries are facing it, but more so cold storage. I mean, I'm going to be honest, if I was looking at my pick of jobs working inside of a freezer all day, it's tough.
Yeah,
right. It's really tough.
It really is.
And I think it also leads to a better culture inside these cold storage facilities, just because it shows that companies are investing in technology and automation to make the lives of their existing workforce easier.
Yeah.
So that's been a real focus, not because we want to just focus on ASRS, but in the cold storage world, it seems like that's where we're being driven to.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely seeing more of that on our side of things as well.
Absolutely.
So what, I guess, in your 5 years at the company, do you think that that's one of the biggest changes you've seen, or are there others that you've experienced in your time there?
I mean, I think ASRS is the biggest push I've seen overall, but there's also been the need for other types of automation. Just, you have pallet conveyor, you have AGV forklifts, automation in general, and then you transition and you look at just the controls layers and the information systems behind it, where you have WMS and WCS systems. There's a big drive to just really improve upon the existing systems. A lot of the cold storage companies have a lot of homegrown systems, right? They built it themselves.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for that. There's a lot of credit is due to these companies that invest that themselves. However, when you have these homegrown systems, you have a very small number of people that are able to operate and change that system as the business changes.
That's true.
So we're seeing a drive in that technology as well.
Yeah, I was going to circle back on that. First off, the acronyms you started shooting off.
Oh, sorry.
I have no idea what any of that means. So you said, I couldn't even write them down fast enough, but what acronyms did you say?
Yeah, so you've got your warehouse management systems, which is your WMS.
Okay.
WES is your execution layer. Your WCS is your controls layer.
Okay.
And there's a whole lot of other acronyms. I'll just stop there. Not try to get too confusing.
That's good. That's really good. I mean, dude, there's a huge rise in automation in these warehouses.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. How does Slate River, how are y'all helping cold storage facilities incorporate automated solutions while maintaining energy efficiency or sustainability?
The biggest thing for us is data. We make sure that data drives the decision. It's really easy to go in and just say, oh, we need to throw some robots here, or add some conveyor here, but we really want to take data and have that drive the solution. And then we do that in collaboration with the clients to understand what the real benefit, the ROI is. It's real easy to step away and design inside of a black box and come back and say, here it is.
Yeah.
But the approach that we find that defines SRSI is we come up with a solution, but we collaborate because it's easy to say that this is going to be the best way to do it. It's a better way to say, this is how we think it should be done. Tell us why it wouldn't, and let's make the adjustments accordingly to not just what your data tells us, that's a big driver, but what the supervisors, managers, seniors, directors, what the operation actually says needs to happen.
Yeah. When would someone bring you into the equation? Do you see more retrofit solutions, or are you doing more new construction?
So it's a pretty good mix of the two. What we find though is, with retrofits, we're brought in because there's a problem and there's something that needs to be addressed. So we come into the picture then. With greenfields, we're brought in, but I honestly think we're brought in a lot of times too late.
Oh, wow.
It's usually what we've usually seen is the building's already determined.
Yeah.
And then we're brought in to look at the automation side and what can we do from a ASRS perspective or a conveyor or just general racking, whatever it is. But if we can come to the table before that building design is done, then we're not trying to fit automation into an existing block with columns in certain spaces.
Right.
Those adjustments can be made after the automation solution is done, and it actually can end up saving money because now we're not trying to turn corners and do things that we wouldn't have to if we had a completely clean slab.
So what are the key factors then? I mean, that you make a good point. The box is already there.
Yeah.
Right? Box is already there 9 times out of 10. And one of our questions we came up with is, what are key factors when, considering you guys for planning these design buildings, and what do you like? What are, I guess, what design considerations would you ask? Like, how would you tell an owner to, hey, your layout of your warehouse should look like this? Like, does that make sense, what I'm asking?
It does. So we need to understand what your constraints are, what your requirements are, what your rates are. If you give us rates that are really low, okay, that's not too difficult to do. But if your rates are really high, if you're turning a lot of product, if you're looking at 100, 200 turns an hour, 300 turns an hour, there's a lot of different pieces of automation that have to go in to make that happen. There's additional equipment. There's different coding in the system sometimes for traffic management. It's just not simplistic.
Yeah.
So if you've got really high rates and things like that, we want to know that up front. That helps us plan. It helps us go to the design and be like, look, this is the optimal way to get your rates at the most, I'll say, inexpensive cost. So it's just having all that information up front. Unfortunately, I'll tell you that the biggest challenge that we have in any industry is getting good data.
Where do you source that data from? Is it from your customers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's a request from us to the clients to just say, give us your inbound, give us your outbound, your order history, give us all the data that you have. We'll slice it and dice it. Like, I don't need you to do anything with it.
Okay.
Just let us have it and let us dissect it. And then we can turn that into a solution.
Nice. Then who exactly are you selling to then on these projects? Are you gonna partner with the architect and the design build GC? Do you prefer to just hook up with the owner early on and much like a refrigeration contractor would, to help them design their refrigeration system? Who are you selling to?
All three, all the above. A lot of times the end users are reaching out to us directly, but there are times that we'll have the general contractors look to us to help participate in their RFPs because they'll want to partner with us for their bids for their projects.
Mm-hmm.
The architecture side, not as much. There are a few architecture firms that reach out to us that look to see what we could provide, but a lot of times it's either with the GC or it's the end user.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, and that makes a lot of sense if what you're saying, when you're saying like it's best if we come in when we're talking about the design of the building, it makes sense to be involved in that earlier part so you can maximize what your product that you're providing.
Yep. Especially too when you look at like just floor slab.
Yeah.
Right. There's this conception that the floor slab has to be so thick for, an ASR, your traditional ASRS crane system and things like that. But if you're looking at other products, it doesn't necessarily have to have that same thickness. It just really depends. So it's not just it's not just a blanket slate. You can also have a different thickness on your dock versus what's underneath your racking inside the freezer. So a cool dock can have a thinner slab than the actual freezer itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So are you guys manufacturing and installing racking systems or automated conveyor systems, or are you putting the design all together and sourcing that, and then you have your own team that puts someone else's stuff in? I guess, so for all the listeners out there, like, what's that look like for you guys?
So as an integrator, we are integrating other suppliers, but we pride ourselves on being the one-stop shop for it. So we'll put in the racking, we put in the conveyor, put in the wrappers, all that automation we install, we procure it, and we're the ones responsible for every step of the way, as well as the post-care support. The only proprietary system we have is our ASRS pallet shuttle, which we call RAFT, for right angle fast transfer. I will tell you, I believe it's one of the best, if not the best on the market.
Wow.
And I will tell you, I'm probably a little jaded, right? I started my career at SRSI being the guy on site testing and commissioning that system.
Wow.
So I know it like inside and out.
Sure.
And all the different changes and evolutions it's taken to this point. We used to integrate other people's solutions for the pallet shuttle, and we decided, we think that it's best that we make our own. And so we started making our own, and ours works in freezer. It's in cold storage. It's in applications now. Runs very well. Great traffic management system. In my opinion, as I said, I think it's one of, if not the best one out there. But everything else is integrated solutions from other providers.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got, like, in terms of the cold storage industry. Is SRSI your first entry into cold storage, or did you have other career paths that led you here?
So I have a very different career path that got me here.
Okay.
So prior to coming to SRSI, I actually worked for an end user. I was with a sports apparel company.
Okay.
I don't know if I can say the names or not.
You can say whatever you want on this podcast.
So I worked for Under Armour for almost 13 years, and loved the company. It was a great place.
You're wearing Under Armour.
I'm still a fan of the brand.
Boy.
Right.
Good.
So I worked there for about 13 years. While I was there, I ended up getting my degrees in HR, of all things. But while I was there,
human resources.
yes. Sorry.
You know that one? That's the one you know?
You probably don't want to know that one if you got to learn it that way. But while I was there, and I ran operations for them. I ran a facility for them in Maryland and some of the operations in their California facility. Then I went into more of an IT role. So I was the system super user. So I did all the DH systems, integrations, testing, implementations, ran all those projects.
Yeah.
And then while I was doing that, I met a contractor, Ben York, who came to us through St. Ange. And he actually he was doing that while he was waiting his time to be able to open Slate River.
Very cool.
Then I saw he opened Slate River, and it just naturally happened, and I ended up joining SRSI because I believed in Ben and the company that he was building, the culture, and it was just something I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
And then I got in there, but my role when I came to Slate River, I was the guy on site doing testing and commissioning for our system. So I did our software deployments and our ASRS deployment.
That's cool.
And I did that for about 2 years. And then I came onto the account side.
Wow.
So
Dude, that's awesome.
a little bit of a different path.
It is, but I think there's so much value in that because you know so much about how the system operates, and that helps you when you're talking to customers, when you're meeting with the designers, right? All of that, that brings such a different level of value.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things that we try to get through to all of our customers is the majority of our team is comprised of operators. We've run operations, we've had teams of people reporting to us, we've been the end user, and it makes a difference. When we go into facilities, we understand what they're going through because we've gone through it. We understand the labor, we understand the cost, we understand ROI and budget, and we understand what's realistic and what's not, and why data is so important for our solutions. Because the last thing we want to do is put someone in the same position that a lot of times, unfortunately, we've been put through as operators. There's a lot of companies out there that, take advantage of the fact that, a lot of people may not have a lot of knowledge or experience, and, they prey on that. And we just want to make sure we were a company that didn't do that.
Yeah. You never want to forget where you came from.
Right.
So I know you did the Under Armour thing. I did the door thing and sold cold storage doors, and I was in these facilities, and a lot of it was there's automation everywhere. It's food processing, it's cold, and with all the food and safety regulations and USDA and all that stuff, do you have to consider any of those regulations when designing the system? And what's that look like?
Honestly, it just looks at making sure we're sourcing the right components, made of the right material. Just it depends. We do some clean room things, and we have to look at stainless steel. Stainless steel conveyors, and the thing is, it increases cost, but it's what's necessary. So we do take all that into account in our designs, and even fire suppression. There's a lot of times fire suppression is a big thing for us. A lot of times we're able to get away with not having to do in-rack sprinklers, but there's times when we have to look at that or look at the low ox options that are out there and incorporate that into our design. And unfortunately, that stuff takes up space. So a lot of people want to, how do I get more pallet positions? It's tough. Got to go taller.
Go higher.
Yep.
Man, you're hooking up with all the fire guys then too, right? All the fire protection guys, and
we have to.
We have to, right? We just had a couple of fire protection guys on the show a while back.
24.
But it's interesting, the fire protection stuff. And the low oxygen thing is crazy.
It is.
So
it's really cool, but a lot of people are very
it's
nervous.
wild. I didn't know that the amount of oxygen in the air in Denver and the mountains is the same amount of oxygen level that you put in a low ox room or on the airplane. Remember the airplane?
Yeah, I do.
There's less oxygen on an airplane than there is in a low ox room or something.
I didn't know
something
that.
like that. Dude,
You might be misspeaking.
I might be misspeaking. You have to go back and listen to the podcast. It's been a minute.
Yeah. No, it's wild though. I was watching some demonstrations by some of the low ops guys at some different companies, and it's amazing to me. I'm I can go in there and breathe, but I can't light a match.
Yeah.
It's
science.
It is.
So
Weird
science.
Dude, it's black magic. It's voodoo.
Oh.
Do you have a cool story that you want to share with us that is related to the cold storage construction industry? Another one of our sponsor moments by RITEC. A cool moment, cool story.
Something that stood out to you that kind of made you go this is a cool place to be, a cool place to work, a cool industry to be in.
And you can't use Brett Wedding.
I would never use that as a cool story. I hope he's listening to
you. Gotta leave Brett out of this, all right?
I think the cool story for me is, really coming in this industry was, honestly, it was a cold call into SRSI for an opportunity with a company that ended up being one of my clients. So it was the first one that was handed to me from a lead from a website.
Sure.
And, I've got I have a fairly large Rolodex, but really that Rolodex is comprised of people that I've had connections with for years.
Sure.
You know, they've all been people I know. For me, getting into the sales world was something that was very different for me. I was very nervous about that because I've never done sales a day in my life. And in my world, as the end user, sales was a 4-letter word. I didn't want to talk to a sales guy because I always felt like I was being overpromised and underdelivered. It was tough.
Yeah.
Going into sales took a lot of convincing. I ended up making the jump, but I made the jump because I had so many connections and people that I trusted and that trusted me, and I had all these great relationships. But then I had this first client that came in that was just someone reached out on the website asking about a pallet shuttle. And it was I ended up developing a relationship with them. We ended up doing a couple things together. You know, I now stay connected with them, on a lot of different levels. Just, we're doing some work together. And that was the one that it's not the biggest job.
Sure.
But it's probably one of the most important to me because they're the ones that showed me that I can actually do this. And to me, that was pretty cool. And that was a cold storage client, and that's how I actually got into cold storage was through them.
Oh wow!
They reached out, we started doing some work, then they actually asked me to participate in IARW a couple maybe 2 years ago now, and from there went on to working with them at GCCA last year, and it's just they really got me into that industry to start with.
Do you want to say who it is or no?
I'm fine saying with who it is. Bellingham Cold Storage up in the Pacific Northwest.
I'm cool with it. I know.
Yep.
I think I've been to their plant way up there in the Northwest.
Yeah, it's way up there. Beautiful.
You're on your way to Vancouver.
Basically.
Yeah.
I would fly into Vancouver. It's just a lot more expensive because of Canada. But
yeah. That's an awesome story, man.
That's a really cool
Very
story.
cool. Love
I
that.
like that.
That's really
So, do you have a favorite trade show then?
Oh, it's GCCA.
Yeah.
It really is. So it's one of the ones. So last year was the first time that I was able to bring my wife to something.
Oh, wonderful.
So I brought my wife Kristen with me to GCCA last year, and the people in general, I find them to be so very down to earth. And my wife is treated like she's part of the industry, which is that's just awesome for me. She has a great time. I had a great time, and I think for that reason, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah. I love that. I love that because I do feel like that a lot when we go to these trade shows. It's like coming together, and when we find out that someone's new, it's like a big old family reunion where we like welcome in this long lost cousin or something that we haven't seen in a while, and that's been a special part of experiencing the trade shows in this industry.
So what surprised you the most about the cold storage industry?
It doesn't seem like work to me.
Oh,
and
mic drop, man.
And, well, I mean, look, don't get me wrong.
Like
There's a lot of work behind it, but I don't feel like everyone, again, it could just be, maybe I'm blinded, but I don't feel like anyone's putting on a show. It's not a dog and pony show, and everyone's very direct, and I appreciate that. Yeah. You don't have to like our solutions, and you can tell me, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you you're probably wrong, but I like the people. I like people being direct, and everyone seems transparent. Yeah. And that's just what I really like and appreciate. That's always been how I've operated. Yeah. Again, because I come from operations, so that's more of an operations mindset. But I find that the people in the cold storage world are that operational mindset. And it just seems to click for me. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like I'm just meeting some folks and just having some conversations. And that's how I like doing it.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, if your company was a superhero, which superhero would they be?
Oh, wow. All right, that's a tough one.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is one we let people
Wouldn't it be Iron Man? Wouldn't it be Iron Man?
Maybe.
Like with all the gadgets and the mask is automated. This boom, boom, boom. Like I don't know. Seems like it could be
He
Iron
already
Man.
picked it out for you.
No, you go.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to go Iron Man. I think I'm going to go Green Lantern.
Ah.
So it's a little different.
Okay.
But I'm going Green Lantern because if I remember the comics correctly, and I may not because I wasn't a big comic book guy,
That's okay.
but I did watch all the movies. And from what I remember from that horrible movie with Ryan Reynolds,
So bad.
but it was a bad movie.
Was it Deadpool? That's
But it was, you just gotta figure out a solution and create it on the fly. And that's what I think I remember Green Lantern did, right?
Okay.
He could do anything he wanted with that lantern, but he just had to figure out that solution on the fly and make it work to, attack the bad guys.
Yep.
I don't feel like we're attacking the bad guys,
Sure.
but we do have to think of unique solutions. We have to come up with them, and we have a lot of constraints we have to work within, and sometimes it takes a little bit of manpower to figure out what's the right solution.
Sure.
Greenfields, I'm not going to say they're easy, but we get to start with a clean slab and basically do what we want. When you're going into like a retrofit or an existing operation, we're dealing with a lot of different things that we got to work around. So I figure we've got to be a little creative there on our solutions. So
Okay.
I like that.
That was
That's a great answer.
I was going with that or Batman.
That's a great
Yeah.
answer. Yeah. Well, let's talk the future here. Looking in the future, looking at
Okay.
SRSI. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth and innovation in cold storage construction, and how is Slate River positioning themselves to capture that change?
Yeah. So when it comes to the growth in cold storage, literally it's growth. It's going tall. A lot of different, the way the industry's going, everyone's going in these 100-foot, 150-foot buildings. So literally that is the growth. I don't know that we'll see too much change on the automation side from where it's at now, aside from maybe improvement with automated truck loading and unloading. There's a lot of technologies that are trying to get there. I don't know that we're there yet as a technology. I don't think the technology is where it needs to be yet to fully automate that. But I think that's something that's getting there.
Yeah.
I think in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see a big uptick in that. But I think where we're positioned to do really well is not just the solution and the integration, but really it's the post-project support. It's being able to call someone to be able to service the system and get in touch with someone, not be put on hold for 5 hours and not wait 6 days for someone to come out, but being able to reach out to a company that can do the maintenance, get boots on the ground, get them out there quickly, and provide those after action reports on how to prevent it going forward. And that's what we do really well. So that's why I think SRSI has a little bit of a leg up on competition, is being able to provide that support. Because at the end of the day, we are an integrator, we provide a solution, but we're a service business.
Sure.
And that matters, because when something's not working or there's an issue or a problem, people need someone to rely on.
And being able to call one person instead of, I got to call the conveyor company or the racking company or the robotic company or this company or this company, and then they're all pointing the finger elsewhere. I'd rather just call one person and let them figure it out.
Yeah. One-stop shop.
Yep.
Is that why someone would buy from you? Because you are just the one-stop shop? Why would I? Man, you tell me this. I'm ABC Foods, and I got this really big project coming up. I'm processing food. I'm going to package it. I'm going to store it in a little cold storage warehouse I'm going to build right next to my processing plant. And I'm working with integrators. I got to figure out my automation. Steve, why am I buying from you?
Because we're going to come in and do the design. We're going to do the procurement, the implementation, the project management, final engineering, stamp drawings, and the service afterwards. You just got one person to deal with. You don't have to deal with 5. We're not going to say, here's the right solution from you. You should use this company for this and this company for that. And then you're going, 50 different ways. It's just one company.
Damn.
I love that.
It makes it easy. Like a little mini GC.
Kind of.
Just for that one scope.
Just for that one scope, yeah. We want to stick with stick within our level of expertise.
Yeah.
It's very easy for companies to get big and to kind of dilute everything. We know what we're good at. We know what we're not good at. We're not the person you want to call if you want to pour a concrete floor.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Well, easy is good. Easy makes people's lives better.
Yeah.
It makes projects probably go better.
Absolutely.
So I can see why that brings extra value.
Yeah.
So if people want to know more about what SRSI is doing, where can they find information about what you guys are?
Yep. So obviously you can go to our website, www.srsi.com or www.asrs.com.
Okay.
So either way, you can go to our it'll take you to our website and you can see everything.
You have ASRS.com?
Yes, we do.
Like you lock that in. You lock that domain in. You're a domain
genius
hoarder, bro.
That's what we do.
Man, dude, those domain hoarders, man, I tell you. I got beef with one right now. I want one website and I can't get it and I can't get a hold of the guy. Anyways, it's not about that.
Yes.
Not about you.
It's not about me. Website hoarder.
I mean, you can check us out there. You can check us out on
cool.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all the typical social media pages.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's
Okay.
awesome. So for the year 2025, where can people find you in 2025 at? What shows are you going to be going to?
Yep.
And the second question to that is, where's your corporate office?
Mm-hmm.
And where is your corporate office? Do that one first.
Okay, so corporate office, our main office is in Dallas, Texas.
Yep.
All right, and then we also have one in Crested Butte, Colorado.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Oh, that's not a very ugly place to have an office.
It is not an ugly place to have an office.
That is a beautiful place to have an
I
office.
think we might have to go visit that office.
Hey, you guys are welcome to come up anytime.
Wow. Anyways, I lost my first question.
Totally dumbfounded by that.
Where's my first question?
What shows can
What did I ask?
What show?
Yeah, what shows?
You really threw
Tequila,
him off
man.
there.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Where are you going to be in 2025? How can we find you?
So, we'll be at your typical shows. We'll be at ProMat, we'll be at Pack Expo, and then of course I'm always at the GCCA, SEBA conventions. Those are the main shows that we'll be at. Yep.
Dude, how was that Pack Expo show lately?
Pack Expo it's a good show, very large, but it's a lot of people really, like the typical automation shows, it's a lot of window shopping. It's companies coming in and seeing what technologies are out there. It's good for us because a lot of those people window shopping are looking at so many different things. They don't have a person to put it all together.
Yeah.
Dude, that's got to be a huge show for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How big of a booth do you do there?
Pack Expo, it's actually not our large booth. Our largest booth is going to be at ProMat, and then of course it's Modex on the even years. But our largest show is always
Where's ProMat?
ProMat's in Chicago.
Every year.
Every year. So, well, not every year, every other year. So it alternates. So on the odd years, it's ProMat, and that's in Chicago. The even years, it's Modex, and that's in Atlanta.
Okay.
So we just did Atlanta in 24.
And what does that stand for? ProMat. And what does that mean? Is it an acronym?
I don't believe so. If it is, then I don't know, and I feel bad not knowing that.
Everything's an acronym these days, You shut out
thrown off by the
WMS and
acronyms
WCS.
and the
Man, I got Crusty Butte on my mind.
Yeah.
You got me all befuddled. I don't know. Is that a word?
Boy. So you made it.
Well,
fun
hey, if
today.
you guys ever do come up to Crested Butte, our office is in the basement of the Treasury building, so we're literally 100 feet from the ski lift.
Wow. You just sold him.
Mm-hmm.
You will never
I'll
leave.
see you there.
Yeah. No, we'll get you up there. You guys come on
That
up.
would be amazing.
Love that, man. Cool.
Have we reached?
Well, yeah, dude, I got you, man. We're gonna do the cool rapid round questions, and I'm gonna really hit you hard.
All right.
I have
really, really tough ones.
I have a lot of them.
Okay.
And I have some over here too. I'm gonna get to. I have a couple on here. I'm gonna ask you. A couple over here. And this one is just one of my favorites. So, no eyebrows or a unibrow?
Unibrow, because I can shave it.
I love it.
I like how he gave the explanation of
I
that.
know.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. Dance in the rain or sing in the shower?
Sing in the shower.
A startup culture or corporate environment?
Startup culture.
Networking event or quiet night in?
Quiet night in.
Favorite book or favorite podcast?
Cool times.
Suck it up, man. Mentorship or coaching?
Mentorship.
Work-life balance or all in for the job?
Work-life balance. All day.
Quick decisions or thorough analysis?
Thorough analysis.
Fair enough. Are you a... Oh, that's final set of questions. You're beer pong or air hockey?
Beer pong.
Beer pong. That's a new one.
Yeah. Did I say beer pong?
Yeah.
Well, cold drink or cold beer?
Cold drink.
Mm-hmm. Beachside or poolside?
Poolside.
All right.
Are you going to ask the brand new?
I have the brand new the end all question here. Brand new for 2025. Okay. The greatest sing-along song of all time. Is it Don't Stop Believing by Journey or Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks?
Oh, I'm going to go Don't Stop Believing.
Okay.
Yes, a good
All
one.
right.
Yeah.
A good one.
I got burnt out with Friends in Low Places. Spent a lot of time in Nashville, and it just got overplayed.
Doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop.
You stop believing?
I stopped believing
Stop
in it.
Friends in Low Places?
Yeah.
Well, dude, I want to be cognizant of your time. You're the man.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate
Thank you
you.
for coming in.
Here.
This was super informative and excellent information. You know, it's interesting how everyone has something to do with cold storage construction and meeting with people and learning different little sectors of what they do is very interesting. You definitely have a cool story and awesome product line to offer people and help people with solutions. So any final thoughts?
No, I just appreciate you guys having me. It's been fun. My first experience doing this, so hopefully I didn't do too bad at it.
You crushed it, man.
Crushed it.
You crushed it.
No, but I appreciate the time and getting a chance to come on here and promote what we do, promote SRSI and our brand. And just looking forward to a great 2025.
Absolutely.
You know, this is going to be a fantastic year.
That's awesome. And to everyone out there, thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And until next time.